Hey, how's it going? I also wanted to go over, I think probably the biggest issue is um, music is listening and speech, and it also is a practice of silence. And some people are aware of this. Everyone's aware of this. And it's that, like, inside of your ear, kind of picture it kind of like one of those potions, from Zelda. And you know how the potion is like round on the end, right? And then it kind of like goes out like that. That is what I kind of look at the ear as. And it is like a room, and it has, kind of a round area. And, when you kind of hear very well, I haven't really tried this yet, but it needs to be done to understand it because my body could learn more. But there is earwax in here. When you put water in it, it blocks it up and it feels, usually really good when it's in there. It has that nice feeling like when you put air inside of your cheek. And anyway, so inside of there, you know, kind of trying to figure this out, but you know, if you had a vacuum or something, and you could just, kind of stick it in your ear, and then you could just suck on your ear until it kind of fills up or something. I mean, you can fill it up with water and it will do it. You put your finger in there and it kind of does, and it feels like it would if you pulled it out. But that feeling, you kind of want to teach yourself. You don't want to you want to actually do it. Picture it as a room. Like this is a room, and then picture each individual room as a place where speech is going on, and that a clean room, really does represent your thoughts and sounds and silence as well. But it is all a sound because they said, in I think it was 1900 or 1800 that everything's always moving, has tiny particles always moving, just like these pixels on the video. And to me, I think that that's pretty factual. But it's also something that you can do, and it's a reason that has started arguments between families and people. And it is basically using everything in here and figuring out why it came here. Every item, every painting, every reason it was put there is like, I could have silence or I could let something in it. And, every single thing in this room, I wouldn't really want in a room, but I wouldn't want it not to be there. I think it's a very good statement. I think, it's my father's ideas, and I think that they are very good ideas. This is not just his, but it is an ear's ideas. And every house is a person, and every room is a person. And someone will like this room. And they were like, man, I really wish I had that room. And someone will want that room, and somebody will go somewhere and get a nice house and find something about this size, maybe even a smaller that room. And that room, is a person, because I mean, it's there, I mean, shit, it is, it's a room, it's a wonderful room. And someone will want, that painting, they'll want the items in it, and they'll say, man, I like the smell in this room. I like that humidifier back there, it reminded me of tobacco, that helped me think, I think that was a good room, so maybe I'll want one of those rooms again. I think that's a nice room. That's good. Me, room, yes, good, nice, right? Good, nice, room. So, every item in the room is supposed to have a sound when it enters and when it leaves. And if you still have like a receipt, envelope, that's kind of a clue, to understand, that these are still sitting here, and that's what rooms are about. It's when someone enters a house, it's when someone leaves it. A house, is just like in each ear, and both of these, are two different ears, and both of these two different ears, are also two different rooms, and they're also one room, as well, if needed. But, there is a small preference when you hear what's on the left side of something and what's on the right side of something. And, also, eyes can also be rooms, and you can use just one eye, and you can see, what you like to see with this eye, and you can say, well, like I'm kind of left on this way, but I'm kind of right on this way, and you could say that, maybe, maybe the diplomacy and republicanism, has nothing to do with it, but maybe it does, some kind of symmetrical equivalent. Maybe, what is leftist is kind of over on this side. Maybe what's kind of rightist is on this side. Maybe what people with, right hands, kind of like this shit. Or, if it's right brain, then maybe it'd be this shit over here, would be the good shit. And the left-handed shit, might be the right shit, if it's going the other way. And you kind of gotta, kind of figure out those little tiny details. You could also use one nostril. People, you know, have a nostril on both sides, and it's something to be imagined with. It's understandable what it is. And I mean, there's a mouth and what you like to insert in it. Some people have the same mouth. Some people, have a kind of similarity in mouth, and you can say, this is not the same room as it will always be, but in here in my mind, someone could go and they could get another room, that is like this one, and not the same exact size, but it would be the same exact size, like the right size, like if this is a room and it could be a little bit smaller, a little bit larger. I think this room would adapt, and I think it would be a better room somewhere else. It'd be a more wanted room, in certain rooms, in certain houses. Sometimes a room is half a room and half another room, half a different room, and that is what makes the room feel important, with the aroma, with the room, and that's something you need to pay attention to. And, and, that's why, you definitely do want to like close things out and, let them in. And if you don't do that, and for some reason you're tied up, with other senses, then basically, this ear, will get full with earwax, I'm pretty sure. I mean, some people may like lots of earwax, but I think that if there was a way to kind of understand, if you can't hear in this ear, truly, and it is just a place for earwax to go. I mean, it could be full of earwax only, and it could not absorb information if there's too much vibration in it, And I think that would make someone be deaf, but also someone who could hear, could probably even be deaf to certain shit, certain things, given that principle of, basically like, here's another one, is looking at my head, whoops, that's a little flip, as like a Q-tip, like, for example, like when I walk around, I'm kind of scratching a room, with my head, because it has hair and it has surface, and it should be able to, scratch, the top of, the little mini ceiling, up there, because it's like the inside of that little potion, that little room. It's almost like, like a small circular room, a very small one. So, every room, has, a definite four corners, and so, when you walk around and you feel kind of like someone deaf is around or something that doesn't listen to what you have to say at all, it could almost be like it's filling with earwax and you're just a Q-tip, and you can kind of look at it like that, and take off your hat. And then when you have it on, like it seems to be listened to, and then not, when it's like that. So, or vice versa, be like, oh, well, when I have a hat on, this room seems to listen. and you can kind of already, figure out what the room said. And, I'm sure the room had a lot to do with me being here. Had plenty of time for me to think of this idea. And, by the time I think of it, it's already there. So, I think this room is this room, but it could be, just my listening or someone else's listening that I have kind of been utensil to understand it. So, that's about it for that. It's just kind of realizing that ears can be rooms, and eyes can be rooms, and you could only see with this eye and like certain things, and you could only see with this eye and like certain things, and you could actually make a polarity between the two. And you could also smell certain things with this side, and you could associate only the right side with certain things, and then you could also associate only certain things with the left side of this nostril. You could also do it with your mouth and do half and half, And you could even do it with your whole body, half and half, you know. So kind of learn how to do that, and I don't really know what else to say about that. But me personally, I'll have to give you some instructions on what I learned. But it was basically that I have a polarity for sure, and I know that there's an upside down me and a right side up me. I know that, also, just like writing with my left hand and writing with my right one, both of those things can be done, and writing with my left one, maybe this means something else. To me, I've always looked at it like left is, it's not really something I need to go over, but I don't really know what else to say, besides, it's pretty interesting. So, rooms are places you can imagine, and, they are like people, and it takes people to have the rooms, but it takes me being here to have an eyeball, and, it might take the rest of me for that eyeball to be there, but it is an eyeball, and it's important, and I love it, and I think that I was a big reason why it was there, and also, it was a big reason why I gave it a reason to be there, but I'd hoped that there'd be something to connect it to. So kind of look at it like that, and there's a lot of compartments and ideas, but if they go to waste, it's just going to be retarded space, and no one wants that.